Good evening, my lovelies. It is 3:30 in the morning on Saturday, the 7th of March, so it's more sort of good morning. I think you can expect me to sort of wiggle myself out on whether it's the morning or the evening when I'm greeting you on these videos. The last few days have been really quite interesting from a game dev perspective in that Unity and Unreal have both sort of unveiled new payment structures, or at least made them a bit more public. And what this has basically done, I haven't read the documentation, but it's essentially said that for a lot of people who are prospective users, they're going to be much lower cost or free to use until a certain point. And what this does is lower the barriers of entry. When I recorded this earlier, I said boundaries of entry. Anyway, it lowers the barriers of entry. It makes it a lot easier to get the tools. Once you make your game, then obviously you might end up paying a little bit or whatever, but the short answer is that you get access to a lot more powerful tools a lot earlier. And this sort of puts a lot of power for devs because now they have quite a fair few different engines available to them that they can all choose from. And naturally this has reared up the head of the ugly old which engine is better debate, to which the logical answer is who cares? If your players don't actually know or notice, then there is no difference other than whether you have the skills to use it and whether it's going to do what you want, or present you with a natural set of constraints that you can work within. So if you are thinking about getting into game development, I honestly think that those two engines are a little bit overpowered for new people. I would suggest something ramped down a little bit, learn to sort of work within even heavier constraints, but they're now options for you, so that's a fantastic thing. I think that can only be a good thing. You know, a little bit of healthy competition, that's a fantastic thing. So in the last few days I have finished reading The Caves of Steel by Asimov. And I found that to be a really interesting one because throughout it he sort of posits this city where everyone is very much attempting just to get by. It talks about social interactions and how in order to survive you have to make as little fuss as possible. And there's a main plot which is a detective story, and that's quite good. But I found this to be an interesting thing, considering a short story, not another short story, but a short story called The Machine Stops. You could almost draw a line from The Caves of Steel and end up at The Machine Stops. So I would suggest reading both of those. Maybe read The Machine Stops first. Now on the news front, I've got a friend's game which he's developing at the moment, and he's taking care to actually track his hours, which is something that I suggest for anyone who's sort of working on big projects, because then you know when you're overworking or underworking, and it helps you estimate things in the future. So it's called Traders Road, and the website is tradersroad.com, and I assume there will be a clicky box somewhere in the vicinity of this video. And today I was actually pretty curious about how to make butter. Australia had a few adverts where a mother and a daughter, the mother taught the daughter how to make butter, and the daughter was like, oh, so how do you make margarine? And then the mother sort of sassily replies back with, you'll have to ask your father, he's the chemist. Which, you know, is a subtle jab. But remembering this got me thinking that I don't actually know how to make butter, and it's supposedly a very simple little process. So I pinged it up on YouTube and indeed found a really good video, so I will link that for you. It's insanely simple. I was like, oh, okay, well, you know, I learned something new today, so, and it's always good to learn new things. I think that that's where we're going to leave it for today. I was going to post a picture as well to show you something cool that Parlock pointed out, but I won't because it's a spider. But if you want to see an awesome spider, just grab Google image search and type in spider P Metallica, as in the band, and you should get something really awesome. So we'll leave it at that. Anyway, I want you to have a fantastic weekend. I want you to take care of yourself, and I want you to check in on a friend, see how they're doing, make sure that they're okay too. So, from me to you, have a lovely weekend, and I hope to hear from you soon. Bye, my lovelies.